Well, hello, Aletheia Church. Pastor Rob here. I'm coming to you on this video today to bring you some exciting news. As many of you know, things are beginning to reopen around us, and Prince George's County this week has officially moved into phase 2 of kind of reopening, which means houses of worship are now allowed to gather in groups of more than 10. And so we are going to have our first gathered worship service in months this coming Sunday. I know that that's a little bit last minute for some of you guys. We've been sort of putting these pieces together and didn't want to let the cat out of the bag until we had it finalized. But our friends at Greenbelt Baptist Church have graciously offered to let us use their facility to worship this coming Sunday. Now, obviously, they're going to be worshiping there on Sunday morning. And so our services are going to officially, for the time being, move to Sunday evening. We're going to be meeting at 5 p.m. Now, we may be tweaking those times as we move forward, as we get feedback from people, but we felt like 5 p.m. was a good time where that'll allow us to have our worship and then be able to get home and fix dinner for the evening. So we're going to be gathering together for worship. It's exciting stuff. I'm so pumped. I have missed being in the presence of the body of Christ and worshiping the Lord together with you guys. Now, with that, I just want to remind you, we sent the document out a week or two ago, just telling you about some of the precautions that we're going to take as we regather. And I just want to remind you of a few things. Now, we're going to be meeting outside, weather allowing. If it's raining, we can use the building, and we've set up a way where we can actually split the congregation up at 2 levels, one in the sanctuary above and maybe half of the people down below, providing how many people we have, those numbers. But our plan is to be outside, right? We think that's the safest way. We can clearly socially distance out there on the lawn. So weather permitting, we're going to be outside. So I want to ask you to prepare for that. We don't know what the weather is going to be. It might be hot. It might be a really nice day like it is right now with the wind blowing. That'd be nice. But whatever it is, we just ask you guys to be ready for that. I do want to encourage you to bring something to sit on. Greenbelt has graciously offered to let us use anything that we want from their building, which includes their chairs and picnic tables, and we will use those as needed, but we think it'll be, and we have to wipe those down afterwards, so we think it'd just be best if you brought your own lawn chair, and it'll be more comfortable that way, or a blanket if you want to lay out as we have our worship service together. All right, our goal is to try to keep our service somewhat short. We're going to do the best we can to do that, whether it's cutting down singing and whatnot. But we just want to make sure that we keep our time together succinct as possible. Do want to ask you to remember that everybody has a different comfort level, right? So realize that when you see your brother and sister in Christ who you haven't seen in a while, your first instinct might be able to run up and hug them, but we're going to ask you to refrain from doing that and to continue to practice social distancing. Families, you guys can sit together, obviously, but when we set up on the lawn, we're not even going to have assigned places. You'll kind of see where we're set up, and you can set up however you want. Just make sure that you're socially distancing. If you have little bottles of hand sanitizer, we encourage you to bring that. We're going to try to have some available, but it's going to be best if you have those. Restrooms will be available inside, hopefully keeping the services shorter. We won't need to utilize those, but if necessary, they will be available. But if you have to go in the building, we ask you to make sure you have on your mask, and we ask you actually to wear your mask as much as you can and is bearable outside, particularly when we're singing. We're only going to sing a couple songs to try to cut down the possibility of spreading through song. And we ask you to wear your mask when you're singing, which I know is going to feel awkward, but again, we want to be as careful as we can. Only those who are up front leading won't have those masks on, and you can distance yourself properly. We're going to have amplification, so you should be able to see. We are going to try our best to do live stream anytime you do something outside in a new setting. we may have some issues with that, so just be gracious with us. And I do want to let you know that that's not going to be a permanent thing. Our plan is to transition out of doing live streams and back to just fully doing our worship services and then posting the sermons on our podcast later on, because we believe true worship is when we gather together. So unless there's a good reason for you not to, we want you to be able to do that. If some of you aren't comfortable at this point, we totally understand. We don't want you to feel guilty or pressure to come gather with us. We would love for you to let us know, though, just so we know that the reason that you're not coming together and worship with us. Either way, guys, I'm really excited about gathering for worship. We won't have kids ministry, at least in a physical sense. It's going to be most likely available virtually, as it has been, but just make a note of that. Guys, I love you. I'm so excited. I can't wait to get together and worship corporately in one geographic location again. Love you guys. God bless.